Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I am showing you guys the Shin Godzilla mod for Minecraft Pocket Edition, but first I have to create the world, so let me do that real quick. Alright, so now that I've created the world, and let me just make sure everything looks good. Basically, what you have to do is you have to go spawn eggs, and you have to grab Shin Godzilla's first form. And I gotta plug in my phone. 1 second.
A few inches later.
Okay, back to where I was at. So basically, you grab his first form, and I'll show the bombs after I spawn him in. So basically, he just spawns in the water like in the movie. And he's just basically just right there and he just stays still the whole time. And the details are actually really high quality and made really well. So, yeah. And basically, he just sits here the whole time until he evolves into his second form. And just swinging his tail back and forth with the steam effects around it. And usually you can't see him under the water, but it got an update recently, so you can. And you can spawn him on land, but you just can't see him, like his body on the land, because, well, it'll be underneath. So basically there'd be two bombs, though. Basically you use these to damage or kill him. Okay, so they're not working at the moment, I don't think. And let me try again. Yeah, they don't work all the time, they only work sometimes. But let me speed up the video until he evolves. Alright, now he's evolved into his second form, but first let me just move him onto the land. So, let me spawn him in. And then, this one, it's like the movie, he just walks around over and over, just bleeding from his, like, gills, I guess I could call it. And yeah, he's just bleeding and walking for a bit until he evolves into his third form, and basically it just looks the same as the first form, but more land-like, where it grows legs and can actually walk on the land and such. And he just continues walking along the land, destroying everything in its path. And the details on this one are also really good, along with the animation. And the tail also just stays as a flipper, because he's only in his second form. He hasn't really evolved that much. He's only evolved to go onto the land so far. So what you have to do is just wait a little bit, which usually takes like 10-ish minutes, I want to say, maybe 5, I'm not 100% sure, but, yeah, it just keeps going in like a beeline to just any spot in front of him, and that's pretty much it for this one. But he has grown spine as well, and yeah, I'm gonna speed up the video once more just to until he evolves again. Alright, now he has evolved into his third form. And in this form, he has grown arms and became more red and lost most of his first and second forms, like fish-likeness. And now the B2 bomb should work on him. yeah, now the B2 bombs work. And basically, when you damage him enough with the B2 bombs, he becomes aggroed. Which then, after he is aggroed, I'm not 100% sure if he attacks you, because I haven't done this in survival yet. But he vomits up blood, and then he just stands there for a minute. And yeah, he's just standing there for a minute, and then you just have to wait a sec. And then he just looks left, and then he looks right, and then basically after that, he roars, and then you wait a few more seconds, and then boom, he's off to the races. And he's basically just running and destroying like all the other forms, so I'm gonna speed up the video until he evolves once more. Now he is evolving into his fourth form, his most strong form, and what everyone knows as Shin, Godzilla. And in this form, he basically just walks around like all the other ones, and he's become like a blackish, like bloodyish red. But this time, when you hit him with the B2 bombs, he doesn't just become aggro. Let's just say he starts crashing out. I don't want to spoil too much. And not only that, and I gotta teleport him. Where's a good spot to teleport? Ah, yes, a village to terrorize. Let me teleport him real quick. Okay, so basically when he's aggroed, or not aggroed, so basically his tail is also starting to get a face and stuff like the movie. And now we hit him with the B2 bombs, and now he is becoming aggroed. And then you wait a few seconds, and you shall see. And boom, there he goes. He has become purple, and that means you're screwed, buddy. And of course in the movie, they had to make it where he spits out black smoke. And if you have watched the movie, then you know that next is fire. And then after fire, you know what comes next. Oh my god, there's things out there. But basically, with the smoke does nothing, but the fire makes just destroys the ground, spreads. And then he's got the laser coming out of his mouth next. And then he shoots the lasers out of his back, of course. And then he just does that for a minute, just to be a nuisance to society. And of course he has to shoot his laser all around. But now the laser doesn't do anything, but the only thing that he does do is with the fire, and it destroys the ground, and then it gets replaced with fire. And then after he's done, he switches back to fire. And then after he's done with the fire, he switches back to the black smoke. And also, don't worry about the textures. It might get an update soon because it's a little bugged in the teeth and the back of the tail. But it probably will get an update about that. And then he just stands there like that. Yeah, and that's pretty much all of it for the fourth form. But the thing is, like in the movie how they defeat him in his fourth form, they try killing him. Hang on, it's not gonna work. Hang on, let me give myself strength. Alright, and then when he's dead, in his fourth form, it's like in the movie where he got frozen. He's dead now, and he's looks like a statue pretty much. And then when you go over to his tail, you can see his fifth form starting to come off, like in the movie. Speaking of, let's grab that, shall we? Now this is Shin Godzilla, nope, not fourth. Shin Godzilla fifth form. And basically, this is basically a very small and overpowered version of him. This is the fifth form, which never actually appeared in the movie alive, but he attacks anything in front of him, like the cow. Alright guys, that's everything for the Shin Godzilla mod. Hope to see you in my next video. Bye.